the estimate, but like I said, the way it used to work in the past is if we had 450,000 and the estimate came in at 370, we'd have a little extra because sometimes in the fall we do like put chip into the product or something. We get a little bit of extra, but lately that extra's been just eaten up by all the change orders of the original projects that were approved in the spring. So.
Do they know what the budget is before they make the bids?
They do a really good job of giving us an engineer's estimate. And that is what we use to budget what projects that we're going to do. But while they're doing the projects, usually when we come into trouble, when we're doing a subdivision, and they expected that to have 3 inches of crushed asphalt or asphalt on it, and as they do the chipping on that, they notice, well, it was only 2, so we need to do that. The most recent example was State Street Road when they paved that. That should have been a nice, easy project, except it was so far gone, we had to add 4 inches of asphalt lift. So these things happen. I don't think there's anybody doing anything shady or underhanded, but once they get into the project, they realize it's going to need more than what the original estimate is. And unfortunately, a lot of these contractors are not timely in their paperwork. So
I think that's the biggest issue is that the road commission isn't getting all of the invoices from the contractors. I don't know what happened in the last couple of years. It's just not being done as timely as it was before.
in a perfect world, that wouldn't be the case, but this sucks less. So, is there any further discussion? Sharon, may we roll call vote this, please?
Bublitz? Yes. Thomas?
Yes.
Taylor?
Aye.
Caldwell? Yes. Cook? Yes. Wardensky?
Yes.
Rowley?
Aye. Very good, thank you. We'll move on to the approval of a resolution adopting the amended water rate fee schedule.
Make a motion to approve resolution 24-09, adopting the amended water rate fee schedule.
Second. I have a motion, we have support. Is there any discussion? All I will add is what Madam Treasurer mentioned earlier, when we sat down with the water and sewer department and determined exactly what do we have in our budget to go through and maintain the system as we have, or if there is any adjustments. This is something that we do on an annual basis. So, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Sharon, may we roll call vote this, please?
Thomas?
Yes.
Taylor?
Aye.
Caldwell? Yes. Cook? Yes. Wardensky?
Yes.
Bublitz? Yes. Rowley?
Aye. Now we will move on for the approval of the water rate and the fee schedule.
Make a motion to approve the water fee rate schedule. Support.
We have a motion, we have support. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Sharon, once again, please.
Taylor?
Aye.
Caldwell? Aye. Cook?
Yes.
Wardensky?
Yes.
Bublitz? Yes. Thomas?
Yes.
Rowley?
Aye. All right, moving on, this is a long one that may have some discussion to follow. This is the approval to create a hybrid position for boat launch attendant and part-time maintenance up to 25 hours dedicated to boat launch and up to 25 hours dedicated to maintenance, to be filled by multiple candidates with no candidate working more than 25 hours per week or at the discretion of the executive board and extenuating circumstances at a rate of $17.04 per hour.
Second. I'm sorry. Motion to approve, create that hybrid position as stated.
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion and we have support. Is there any discussion?
These are kind of 2 separate positions that we try to, the boat launch attendant we try to advertise for every year, and we've not even had any applicants in the last couple of years. And then we've also got this part-time maintenance position that we had filled last year, and we're going to try and fill again this year after that person left. And after sitting down with our building official, and Dennis talked about maybe combining the 2. That way, if we have a couple people that fill the position, it would give him some flexibility to be like, today's the day we need to focus on the boat launch because we're going to have a tournament this weekend, or there was a snow event and so we need to plow the parking lots instead of working at the boat launch. So, and where it comes into no more than 25 hours per week, or at the discretion of the executive board, it would be like if there's a major snow event and it's like they've already got 23 hours and we made them approve of like 27 or something. So that's what that motion, part of the motion was for. But yeah, essentially it was kind of combining a couple of positions we already have, hopefully to make it more flexible and hopefully get a couple of candidates to fill it, and then be able to dictate where they're going as needed.
Hoping it will at least give us
I was gonna
options.
say, for a position that we haven't been able to fill really for years, it's a genius idea. I think kudos to those who came up with it. I've read the idea, really.
Is there any further discussion? Ms. Sharon, may we roll call vote this, please?
Caldwell. Aye. Cook. Yes. Bordenski.
Yes.
Bublitz. Yes. Thomas.
Yes.
Taylor.
Aye.
Rowley.
Aye. Very good, thank you. We'll move on to the approval of a resolution establishing the salary of the supervisor.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2410, establishing the salary of the supervisor.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Sharon, may we roll call vote this, please?
Cook. Yes. Bordenski.
Yes.
Bublitz. Yes. Thomas.
Aye.
Caldwell. Yes. Taylor.
Aye.
Rowley.
Aye. Very good. Moving on, we'll look for an approval of a resolution establishing the salary of the treasurer.
Make a motion to approve resolution 24-11, establishing the salary of the treasurer.
Support.
Is there any discussion? Ms. Sharon, one more time, please.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Okay. It is, we are on the treasurer, correct? Okay. So the additional amount for the assessor's position, I just had a question, where we came up with that amount from, and is that something we voted on, prior to me being here, or where that?
No, we talked about it in the budget work session a little bit. Todd, our current assessor, is going to be here through April, so he'll be here for 4 months, and then I'll be the assessor of record for 8 months next year. So Dawn and I, what we did was we took what his salary would have been if he was here for the full 12 months, prorated it for him for the first 4 months, so he's going to get the amount he would normally get. And then the other 8 months, he's a contracted employee, so he doesn't get like taxes and Social Security and Medicare and stuff taken out of him, and there's no additional cost to the township. So I'd asked Dawn to, that 8-month amount, work it back so that if whatever my salary is plus what the township has to contribute to the other stuff ends up being the same cost to the township as if Todd was here the whole 12 months. So that's where that amount came from.
When we did the budget work session, that's where that was, just so you know, in the different line items. And I since then added the names, so everybody would understand whose position is what.
Right, because that
wouldn't
name's
have
out
known.
of it now, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, so I just wanted to show you that.
Okay, so then that amount of the $39,940 is essentially for 8 months, and then what happens in 2026?
I would ask for more of an increase.
We would come back to the
Yeah,
budget
yeah,
committee.
the budget committee.
And make the decisions on whether or not.
So for, until April, Todd's gonna be here till April, and then, is it Dan? Dan is also an assessor.
He's a level 2 assessor, and he's retiring in September.
Which is where our part-time person becoming full-time is going to pick up what I
Pick
can.
up that
process.
position, yeah.
Who's our part-time?
Hannah?
Okay. I thought that it was discussed that Hannah would be full-time right off the
Yeah.
bat.
Starting January 1st. She's been part-time
Oh, she
since
has been
July.
part-time
Yeah.
already. Gotcha. Okay, I didn't know she started. Okay.
Yeah.
So Hannah will be full-time starting January.
You know, we thought it would be a good idea because currently working part-time, it's so intense with her and Dan working together that she's not getting any experience in other things, answering the phone if everybody's busy going up to the counter and maybe handling something that isn't assessor related. She would have no knowledge of that because she doesn't do that currently because she's just so focused with assessing. So by working full-time with him for these next 8 full months, I'm hoping that it, example, busy election time, she might be able to go up there and say, I'll have someone do it here in just a minute, or taxes, or something. Right now, they just focus on assessing.
And so much of that job is field work,
Yeah.
so that's where when she's here, that's where Dan's taking her, is out in the field. So she is in office some, to do data entry on the computer, but the majority of the time they're out in the field because so much of that position is focused on field work.
Didn't want Dan to walk out on September 2nd and she's here full-time and like,
Here
here you
you
go,
go.
take care of it.
Right.
She wouldn't know.
Right.
So that was part of the reason why why it seems like there's so many people in that office right now, just because we're trying to get her as acclimated as possible, so when Dan walks out, she can, yeah, she can be a full hands-on, what do you call it? Manpower. Manpower, I mean, because otherwise she wouldn't.
The
So
other
that's our
thing,
hope.
and thank you for bringing that up, we are a skeleton crew. We have worked down to as few people as we possibly can. So you have to be able to know how to answer anybody's telephone, greet anybody at the desk, because we will never have it's not my job, okay? So it's important that everybody is cross-trained and get exposure to everything. So I didn't mean to hijack
No.
your statement. We've got some new kids that may not be, know our work.
And that's a great example, because for 2024, I gave every single person in that office an oath to be able to take ballots. Every single person, I think except for Glenn, because he wasn't here when we did it, but I gave everybody an oath so they could go up to the counter, because it was so busy that if she was issuing ballots with someone and, we're not going to make somebody stand there for 20 minutes until her and I were the only ones that were authorized to take a ballot in our hand. So the people don't know that, so they're standing there and everybody's ignoring it. We didn't ignore them, but you know what I mean, they can't help. So every single employee willingly took the oath so they could take the ballots. And I was like, I was so grateful. I thanked them profusely. It's like, thank you guys so much, because it was just, this was exceptionally busy. So that's just an example.
Trustee Taylor.
And Trustee Caldwell, just for you, because you're newer, I did a little dive into this as well, because it was kind of hard to figure out, and I reached out to a neighboring township, and we're lucky to have any assessors in our office. It sounds like agreements that it's very difficult to get. In fact, they do a lot of mix. I think there's one neighboring us that's going to be a deputy supervisor and the assessor, just in order to keep them, have the amount of money to keep a very difficult position to hold. So thank you for doing that, because it is a little, you're right, I contemplated that for a little while too, trying to figure out how that would work, and time and money, and the more I looked into it, the more I was like, you're lucky to have somebody. So if that helps at all.
Yeah, I just wanted a little clarification on that, so that's all.
You had a lot thrown at you during the budget work
Right.
session, so yeah.
Right, so you're a level 3.
I
assessor, is
will
that-
be in February. I've passed 6 exams so far. I've got one last exam to take, and then I'll have another.
Okay, so Hannah's a level 2.
She's in a level 2 class right now. She will be in June. Her class started in September, and she'll get her certification in June. And that's the other part of the reason why we started looking so long ago for Dan's replacement, is because it takes that long to get through the courses and get your certification.
It's quite a process.
And another comment, I know, I think it was earlier this year when you spoke to us about non-certified assessors are not allowed to go, I used to go up to the counter and answer a question if I could. It's not allowed.
Yes.
So
The law recently changed specific to assessing. There's only very, very basic info that Dawn can answer, or my deputy treasurer could answer. Whereas before you could kind of get a little bit more information, but the law changed, and now you have to have at least your level 1 certification to really answer people's questions. having to do with assessing,
So that's a benefit of having her carry here 4 days a week instead of Todd 1 day a week, because I know I've gone up to the counter And my disclaimer always was, even before Carrie told me, is I'm the clerk, I really don't know anything about assessing, but I'll try to help you. And people would laugh. But I wanted them to know right up front, I don't really know what I'm talking about. And I would answer basic questions, and then I found out I wasn't even supposed to be answering them. So what am I, we're not supposed to tell them, well, come back Thursday at 3.
Yeah, and
So
that was
that's
kind of
kinda nice.
the difficult thing before I started doing my assessing certifications. Todd would be here one day a week, okay, so that day would be fine, but then the other days of the week, like I said, Dan's position is very fieldwork heavy, so he'd be out of the office a lot too. So since I started doing my certifications, I'm constantly leaving the staff jokes. It's like, well, take your treasurer's hat off and put your assessor's hat on and come answer this question now, so, yeah.
Is there any other discussion?
Well, my only concern with this, and will continue to be a concern, is, some responsibilities like that, and the time commitment, and how that all factors in, and I know that I don't have a total grasp of that right now, but that would just be my concern. We already have, staff that does a great job, at their current positions, and I know your job and your job are both very difficult and time consuming. So I just wonder from a time standpoint, I know all the problems people are having getting assessors.
Mhm.
Okay, I know it's really difficult, but, I just wonder if you're gonna have the time.
Honestly, there's been a lot of things that overlap and have become more streamlined, and I feel
Okay.
like I've gone faster. Especially when Todd was here one day a week, there are oftentimes that Lorraine and I find an issue somewhere, something we see a text bill and realize that, like, this particular thing is not right. But it has to be fixed in assessing before I can fix anything in a tax roll. And with someone that's there one day a week, when he comes in, he's got a stack that's high on his desk, and he's got to prioritize what needs to be done. And so sometimes our issues would get pushed to the back burner, whereas now I can just fix it, and I can fix it then in tax and get it done and off my desk. And one of the nice things about working 410s in the office is that leaves me Fridays. I have come in and work Fridays when it's nice and quiet here, and I do a lot of my reports and stuff. I have a personal property canvas that I've been doing the last couple of years for assessing that down to the township, and just double check that all of the businesses that you have personal property for are still in business, or if there's any new ones. I joke, my husband drove me around last year and I got car sick as I was trying to take all my notes. So I'm already doing stuff outside of the 40 hours that I'm here in the office. And so I understand what the commitment is.
And we have it the next year, if come next budget work session, I think Carrie will probably be the first one that'll say, I can't do this if it's too much. Oh, and then we'll know because of, we'll know. So if it does become too much, this is only a 1-year commitment. That's why we do that every year. But yeah, and Carrie and I also, I'm the building official, and I think the fire chief have the ability, we can remote in from
Yes.
home. So
I do that.
I at 10 o'clock at night got up and went, oh my gosh, I forgot to email everybody's check stubs. And I emailed them at 10 o'clock at night and had a firefighter call me, why are you at work? I'm like, no, I'm not, I'm at home. But because, you forget things, or something comes up, or when I had my accident, I worked from home for almost a month, Thank God I had that ability. But so we do have that option as well on our Friday, or as I said, at 10 o'clock at night when you remember something. So.
Is there any further discussion? Ms. Sharon, may we roll call vote this, please?
Rublitz,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes?
Taylor,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Swardinski,
Yes.
Rowley.
Aye. Okay, thank you. We'll move on for the approval of the resolution establishing the salary of the clerk.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2412, establishing the township clerk salary.
Support.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Sharon, a roll call vote, please.
Thomas,
Yes?
Taylor,
Aye.
Caldwell, Cook,
Yes.
Swardinski,
Yes.
Rublitz,
Yes.
Rowley.
Aye. Thank you. We'll move on for an approval of the resolution establishing the salary of the trustees.
Make a motion to approve resolution 24-13, establishing the township trustee salaries.
I'll support.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Sharon, once again, please.
Wodinski,
Yes.
Bublitz,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Taylor,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Rowley.
Aye. We'll now move on for approval of resolution for the 2025 general appropriations.
Make a motion to approve resolution 24-14, approving the 2025 general appropriation.
Support.
Is there any discussion? Ms. Sharon, may we roll call vote this, please?
Taylor,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Cook,
Yes.
Wodinski,
Yes.
Bublitz,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Rowley.
Aye. We'll now look for the approval of a resolution for the 2024 millage tax certification for the fire department operating millage.
Make a motion to approve resolution 24-15 to establish the 2024 millage tax certification for the fire department operating millage.
Support.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Sharon, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Caldwell,
Aye.
Cook,
Yes.
Wodinski,
Yes.
Bublitz,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Taylor,
Aye.
Rowley.
Aye. Thank you. Moving on, we'll be looking for the approval of a resolution for the 2024 millage tax certification.
Make a motion to approve resolution 24-16 to establish the 2024 millage tax certification.
Support.
We have a motion, we have support. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Sharon, a roll call vote, please.
Cook,
Yes.
Wodinski,
Yes.
Bublitz,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Caldwell, yes, Taylor,
Aye.
Rowley.
Aye. Moving on, we'll be looking for the approval of a resolution for the annual streetlight special assessment.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the annual street lighting special assessment.
Support.
We need 24/7.
24-17.
24/17.
Madam Trustee, would you're okay with the amended
Yes. I
motion?
am, sorry.
And the same with the support? Very good. Is there any further discussion?
Just that, so once a year, I will take the consumers' energy Rebate City light bills, and I think I go from, I'm not sure, June to August, July to August, something like that. I do a 12-month period, and I have this humongous spreadsheet that I plug in all the rates for all year, how many streetlights. I have a big map in my office showing me how many streetlights are in, you know, like my subdivision, how many streetlights there are versus how many people get billed for it. And then I create a very large special assessment roll. The law requires that we do this every year just because it changes every year. It could be that I pay $24.16 this year, but next year's bills are going to be $28. So most special assessments, we approve them for a period of time and they're the same amount. We approve the dollar amount in the beginning, but we can't do streetlights because we don't have any control over electricity, unfortunately. So if you ever want to see my lovely spreadsheet, please come in. It's fascinating. And then we plug that in to, that goes out on the tax bill in the winter. So,
Another bit of discussion I will bring up, and this is really more geared towards our friends in the audience. It's fabulous to see all of you interested in your local government. If you're really hoping to find like meat and potatoes and raw numbers on how we came to these things, those are usually done in a budget workshop session, which is also open to the public. And we're usually here for at least 3 hours, and sometimes it takes multiple days. And that is where we look at each department and we say, the chief needs this many new hoses, we need to fix this truck, we need to replace this equipment, we need another reserve firefighter to replace this. That is where all the meat and potatoes and the discussion comes back and forth. So if that is what really tempted you to come in and wanted to talk about, I'm sorry that ship has sailed, but please make sure that you're here for the next one, because that's where there's really open discussion on exactly where your township dollars are going to be going. And we try and determine the very best use of those dollars, because it's your money. So I just wanted to bring that up as we're winding down on spending your money. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Sharon, a roll call vote, please.
Wodinski,
Yes.
Bublitz, yes, Thomas,
Yes.
Taylor,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Cook, Yes, Rowley.
Aye. Moving on to some of our agenda additions, we are looking for the approval of contractual wage increase for members of the IAFF and UAW, our firefighting unions, and administrative staff increases as outlined in the approved 2025 budget. This motion was requested by our auditors.
I'll make a motion to approve the contractual wage increases for members of the IAFF and UAW and administrative staff increases as outlined in the approved 2025 budget.
Support.
Is there any discussion? Once again, as mentioned earlier, these are things that are addressed in our budget work session, but the contracts that we have with organized labor included a 5% wage increase, and that is what we used for every employee of the township just across the board.
There were a few exceptions, but
Thank you. But that is
IAW
the
and
basis.
UAW did.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Sharon, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Lublitz.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Taylor.
Aye.
Caldwell.
Aye.
Cook.
Yes.
Mordinski.
Yes.
Rowley.
Aye. Next, we'll be looking for the approval of an amendment to the 2024-2028 trash rule by removing one trash assessment for the parcel 09-010-100-100-005-00. Previous owners had rented a small building out. The new owners use it only for storage. It should not have a separate trash assessment.
Make a motion to approve an amendment to the 2024-2028 trash roll by removing one trash assessment for parcel 09-010-100-108-100-05-000.
Support.
The only thing I want to say is according to our ordinance, if they have like two units, like two dwellings on it, it could be a duplex or it could be two separate ones, they each get assessed a trash assessment. And so this parcel had two on there. And so they had two trash assessments. New owners, they rescinded their rental registration with us. They claimed 100% PRE because then they also would not have 100% PRE on it because part of it was rented out. They've got the 100% PRE. They do not use it as rental. It's storage now, so it should only be charged for one assessment. So we're taking one off, leaving one on.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
One question I had is the assessment related to number of receptacles on given property.
Yeah, you get one trash bin and one recycle bin for each assessment.
And the nice thing is when we rolled that out, we had a grant, so all of the recycling carts did not cost the residents of beautiful Bangor Township anything. Any further discussion? Ms. Sharon, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Thomas.
Yes.
Taylor.
Aye.
Caldwell. Cook. Yes. Mordinski.
Yes.
Lublitz. Yes. Rowley.
Aye. Very good. And finally, we will move on to the approval of Fleece and Vanderbrink recommendation to contract with Super Construction, LLC, for the DSMI service line material verification up to the grant reimbursement amount of $198,957, emphasis on grant reimbursement.
Make a motion to approve Fleece and Vandenbrink's recommendation to contract with Super Construction LLC for the DSMI service line material verification up to the grant reimbursement amount of $198,957.
Is there any discussion?
Just as Glenn said, it's 100% grant. There's no match required from us. That's the amount that was already approved by the state for the grant. And in the grant requirements, we had to investigate at least 280 lines. That's what we put the bid out for. So that's why the bid is less than that amount. But since it came in so much less, we can actually do more lines because we have up to $198,957 to spend. So Gary from Fleece and Vanderbrink reached out to Super Construction. They've agreed to do the additional lines, making sure that they stay within the budget of $198,957. But we need to have the contract signed by the end of the year. So I just wanted to, that's why the amount on the recommendation is a little bit different than the amount that's in the motion.
I will follow up some discussion with, this is part of the lead and copper rule from the state of Michigan. So I update you on those meetings periodically. We know that we have six lead service lines in the township. There are a number of unknowns. What we must do by law now is test those unknowns to find out what that material is, and that is what Super Construction LLC will be doing, actually digging holes in the ground to investigate these materials. And the nice thing is we have a grant that will fund all of that.
Am I correct in saying that the reason we're voting on this is because we have to front the money, but we're being reimbursed? That we are spending it, but yet we're being reimbursed?
Correct.
It sounds confusing, but and that's how I interpreted it the last time we've done this.
And it needed to be done by December the 31st. So, thank you.
I have one other question, if I may. And I have been reading my things about how to be a trustee, obviously, my materials, but this is the first time this is coming up. What happens if a board member is related to somebody or something that we're voting on? Do they abstain from voting?
If you are asking for a conflict of interest, the easiest definition of conflict of interest is you voting on something that would financially have an impact on your household. You are to abstain. And you must ask the board's permission for you to abstain.
Okay,
I hope that satisfies.
it does.
Very good. Any other discussion? Ms. Sharon, the last roll call vote, please.
Taylor?
Aye.
Caldwell?
Aye.
Cook?
Yes.
Kaminsky?
Yes.
Rudowitz? Yes. Thomas?
Yes.
Rowley?
Aye. Very good, thank you. At this time, we will now open up the floor for public input once again, and this is your opportunity to address the board on any item that you would like. All we ask is that you limit it to 3 minutes, and please sign our book. Mr. Willett, welcome, sir.
Thank you. Pin don't write. That one,
There should be at least another one up there.
yeah, there's 3 of them. That one
Okay.
don't write. Neat. This one don't write very
There,
good.
it's on mine, though.
Now, are you voting on a raise for yours or your salary? That you just voted on for everybody?
So again, Mr. Willett, this is not a two-way conversation. I'd be more than happy to go over the budget with you.
Well, you just voted for your supervisor's salary. You didn't tell nobody how much it was. Katie Calwell is the only one that said anything
Mr.
about
Willett,
it.
I apologize if I did not explain this correctly. Public input is your opportunity to speak to the board. We do not respond back.
I guess, because you don't want to talk, I guess.
We'd be more than happy to answer any
Did you
questions
vote
that
yourself
you
to
would have
raise? That's what I
after
wanted.
the meeting
Did you
or
vote
during
yourself a
regular
raise?
business hours.
We can't all be here during regular business hours to see what your answer is.
Please feel free and call us.
No, I want to hear
Email us.
when you talk to Sonny during regular business hours, none of us will be here to hear the answer.
Once again, I appreciate the statement. Public input is a one-way street for you to address this board.
The
It
average,
is not a
the
back
average
and
taxes, our taxes, was over $200 just for the fire department. There's 14,000 people in Bangor Township. That's $2.8 million. What does the fire department do with $2.8 million a year?
forth. Good.
Can you
If
answer
anybody
that?
has any questions regarding the fire department, I strongly recommend that you make an appointment with Chief Groner. He'd be more than happy to go over.
That's all they know how to
their
do is
entire
chase fires.
budget.
So you hide it from the
ambulances
public.
around.
No wonder nobody comes to the meeting. You
Nobody
guys
wants
should
to come
be
to
able
meeting
fill-
because you don't answer nobody's questions about
Is there,
nothing.
is there any
It's all a
other?
bunch of
You should be able
puppets.
to fill that fire hall over there with people, but you don't answer nothing, so nobody wants to come down here.
Mr. Willett, do you have any other statements?
And I congratulate Katie but not Bob Thomas, because he kept sticking the signs right in front of mine about that far away so nobody can see mine.
I trust that was a joke, Mr. Willett. No personal attacks, please. Is
It
there
ain't
anything else,
attack, I'm
sir?
just telling him what he did.
Anything else, sir?
$2.8 million a lot for the fire
You guys
department.
should be able to fill that fire hall. What are you guys doing to get more people to these meetings?
They don't want nobody there.
Maybe answer some questions.
They couldn't
maybe
save my
respond.
basement walls in my house, burnt. That's all they do is chase ambulances around.
Mr. Willett, thank you very much, sir. Is there any other?
There's no need, you guys won't answer the question.
I know.
You want us to come, you want me to come down here when no one can hear
Is
your
there
answer?
any other public input?
You hide your answers.
I did have some, but with that statement you just said about no answers, and there's no reason for it.
No, they just bunch
Thank
of
you, sir.
puppets. That's all they
Is
know.
there any other?
Clown show.
Mr.
We will bring
Commissioner, is
more
there
people
anything that
down
you would
here.
like to
Yes,
address?
I would like to give you an update on the county, what's going on a little bit in the county. Some positive stuff is that we passed our budget last month with no layoffs, and we're getting some major projects done within our budget, so that's a plus. Successfully, our elections was very successful. Early voting, we brought in over 9,000 early voters, and that's a huge success for us, so we're very grateful. Second of all, we also got our elevators in. We've been doing it for 2 years, they finally got in. So we're gonna be putting them in probably March and April. So we're gonna have 2 brand new elevators. That's 1.2 million that came out from the ARPA money. So if it wasn't for the ARPA money, we wouldn't have got a lot of these projects done. So we're very grateful for the ARPA money, we're using them. And animal shelter, we're gonna break ground, I think in March, April. And I think in June, we're gonna start renovating the art band for our health clinic. So we have a lot of positive things coming up in 2024. I also want to thank each and every one of you. Congratulations on the election, and for the new trustees, congratulations.
21 new ones.
So anyways, thank you. And we're looking forward to our new board. We got 4 new commissioners coming on, and we're looking forward to our new commission next year. So that's all I have.
Mr. Commissioner, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Is there any other public input?
Not if you guys aren't gonna provide any answers.
Public input going once. Public input going twice.
Yeah, Brian, Mr. Eddie got the election for supervisor in Call, and he makes $36,000 a year. You're making over twice as much he makes. You think you're worth that much more? Or?
Do they answer questions over there?
No,
in
he don't
Call
answer
Holland?
nothing. It's funny.
Thank you, Mr. Willett.
Do they
Is
answer
there any
questions?
others?
Does Call Holland
Public
answer the
input
questions?
going once. Public input going twice.
You guys are fucking
Third
communists.
time, we will, sir, that will be enough of that language, please.
You guys are just straight communists. There.
Now move on to a few announcements. The administrative offices will be closed on December the 24th and the 25th
you?
for the Christmas holiday.
Me? I'll talk.
Please. The administrative offices will be closed on December the 24th and December the 25th for the Christmas holiday. The administrative offices will also be closed on December the 31st and January 1st for the New Year's holiday. There is a BCTOA meeting tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock at Bay Valley for the new elected officials. The Zoning Board of Appeals meeting will be on December the 17th. Oh, I apologize, that meeting has been canceled. The Planning Commission will be meeting on December the 18th at 6 p.m. Are there any other announcements?
Support.
All in favor with an eye, please. We are adjourned at 7:04. Thank you.